Hi, hi, hola, bonjour, ni hao, assalamu alaikum to all the dignitaries who is now right now watching, and will watch later. So this is your today's moderator. My name is Ambassador Nur Ahmed, all the way from Bangladesh. And very good evening, very good morning, and very good afternoon to all the dignitaries who is now. So before going to present, I would like to share the Global Educator Conference is an initiative of Creative Writing Modern Age, that is CWMA, by the founder and director of Professor Rachana Chakraborty, the exceptional leader of today's era and raising people for over 20 years individual. Her vision aligned to organization creative writing modern age, encouraging soul to write and speak together, and thus leading them towards empowering people to live it and handhold them to rise. Look forward to much more coming our way towards mutual growth and progress for humankind. So before going to start our next session, I would like to say at the time of our own light goes out and is rekind by the spark from another person. I repeat, at times our own light goes out and is rekind by the spark from another person. Each of us calls to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. So right now I would like to request Professor Rachana ma'am for showing the virtual glorious lamp lighting. Sister, over to you. All right, what a way to start our today's event. And yes, light is all kind of hope, all kinds of positive vibes to start any journey. So definitely, so I would like to share some information regarding the creative writing modern age. Creating Writing Modern Age is an initiative started by the Professor Rachana Chakraborty to encourage and guide the young poet and writers to build a platform for them where they can share the dynamic thought and improve under the guidance of some experienced writers. Working in the direction of CWMA, that is Creative Writing Modern Age, has conducted various events such as literature contest, essay writing competition, and so on, for writers to share their best writes up and serve with an opportunity to get published in our yearly book, the chosen ones. The yearly book is a chosen ones. We are we are facilitated also the most admired writers each month who stand a chance to become the part of our yearly book. Poets across the globe, the international meets with poets from different countries, sharing their views on poetry and the different elements and its need in today's time. From the writing poems to reciting in front of audience, we organized Cosmopoetica as a unique poetry slam for the budding and experienced poet. We had International Storytelling Fest, a 4 days event for storytellers to come and express their ideas, interact their stories, and honesty, the experience of mesmerizing. We are truly grateful to our audience who act as the backbone of providing the enormous support in all our endeavor. CWMA has started their own poetry club and storytellers club where we are trying to present as many writers to the world. We dream the garner global attention on the importance of literature. So right now, for the show begin, we want to see a visual presentation of today's speakers and topics. Sister, another time floor is yours. All right. Today we have a great speakers and educators who are who have been doing a great contribution in the educational sector as well as for humanitarian purpose. So now today's topic is semantics. So what does it mean and what is this actually right now? So I'm going to try to share some of the words regarding this today's topic. Well, semantics involve the deconstruction of words, signals, and sentence structure. It influences our reading and comprehension as well as a comprehension of other people's words in everyday conversation. Semantics play a large part in our daily communication, understanding, and language learning without us even realizing it. One part of our studying language in understanding the many meanings of individual words. Once you have handled one word themselves, the context come into play. The same word can be said to people and they can interpret them differently. And for example, in every day, a child might make use of semantics to understand the mom's directive like, do your chores, or do your chores whenever you feel like it. However, the mother was probably saying, do your chores right now. Since the meaning is language is so complex, there's actually the different theories used within the semantics, such as formal semantics, lexical semantics, and conceptual semantics. So I'm not going so much for that. Our speaker will talk about this very elaborately and they will definitely share some information. And yes, please ready your pen and paper to take some notes and just take some way whatever you have learned today. So without further ado, I would like to call our first speaker of today's event. That is one of the greatest speaker I have to say because in my perception, that's world most uh, professional, almost respected profession is teaching. And now I would like to call the speaker who is now currently assistant professor of English department in Zazan University. He was he was creator, founder, project leader, director of Autism for Health Village People Project Trust. He was the head and faculty of in General Study Department in Swiss School of Arts, Design and Technology. I mean, he spent have been spending the time towards the educational purpose. So I'm really eager to excited, even I'm excited to hear from him. So without further ado, I'd like to call Dr. Ampad Verghese Koshi. Sir, floor is yours.
Thank you, Nur. I just want to say that I am now not teaching at Design University. I am working for a firm in UK, Revise Radiology, helping students to write and prepare for the London FRCR exam and fellow of the Royal College of Radiologists. I'm training them, helping them in the language part, the content editing and copy editing of the seminars and webinars, I hope you can all hear me clearly. So I had thought that I'll speak about semantics, but I was also intrigued by our overall theme, which is that of the native influence of native languages on English. So I have kind of made a mix of these two topics, and I will launch into my presentation without further ado. Um, I can't see you people, you know.
I would like to request Rachana ma'am for allowing our speaker to share his screen.
Yes, it's given to him. Actually, I've made it multiple sharers, screen sharers. So
Okay.
anyone can share the screen.
Okay, I don't know. Let me see again. Start sharing. Yes, thank you. So I start from beginning. And yeah. So my topic is this: semantics and the native influence of Malayalam on English, because my mother tongue is Malayalam. And I think this will be a unique topic for you, because I don't think you have ever heard anyone speak about the influence of Malayalam on English. So here's a brief definition of semantics to begin with. Semantics is the study of meaning from the linguistic point of view. What that means is that, like Nur was saying, when we come to semantics, we are dealing with the meaning of words or phrases of sentences and expanding them from there outward into the whole gamut of meaning and it's connected to hermeneutics. And we are also looking at it from an interlinked point of view. It's not that semantics stands alone. As we are going through this conference, it's also connected to phonetics and phonology. It's connected to morphology. It's connected to linguistics. It's connected to syntax and grammar. And then it comes to semantics. And, you know, this is very important to keep in mind, this holistic approach. So here I have given some examples about how mother tongue interference in Malayalam works to affect syntax and meaning in someone who's a Keralite or Malayali from India learning English. And this is something you can abstract from and you can consider it in connection with your own language, whether you're from India or from other places, because there are a lot of commonalities. So, you know, the first thing is we are all bilingual or trilingual probably. We all know a smattering of words in many languages and some languages properly. And, you know, so here's the first Malayalam sentence I want to take. And it says, Vendathu cheyu, Vendathu cheyu. Now, if you translate it exactly, it means the needful do. And, you know, in Indian English, you will say it as, please do the needful. So when you go to ask somebody for help in an office, you know, you say, please do the needful. But in standard English, you will say, please attend to this matter. Please take care of this matter. So you see that, you know, this is common to many languages. What happens is the syntax is different. The syntax here, you know, the verb in the Malayalam sentence, the verb comes after the verb comes after, you know, the subject. And in English, it's the other way around. The verb comes first, and then we have, you know, the subject. So this creates a very interesting situation where we see that the first thing I want to speak about in terms of semantics and mother tongue interference is that most people, when they learn English, who already have another mother tongue, for whom English is a second language, what they do is they translate in their mind from their mother tongue to English. They don't actually look at what would be the equivalent in English, in the English language. Instead, they translate. And this is often looked at by many people as a minus point. But the example I've given you, I want to point out that it's not a minus point, because here actually in many sentences there are certain subtleties and nuances and shades of meaning which the non-native speaker gets hold of through translating it directly instead of going for an equivalent, because he knows that only then can he get those things inside. So I am, Noor used a word, deconstructing sentences. So similarly, I am deconstructing the traditional approach to looking at semantics. And, I am trying to equalize native speakers English and non-native speakers English, and trying to show that there may not be such a big difference in quality as people often make it out that there is, if it's used carefully. So you know that we are talking about communication and the brain, how it processes language, how we speak, our voice box, so to speak, and how it is received by the hearer in his or her own context. Just like we have a context, the text is another context, and these different contexts come into play. So to give another example, and this is the example I meant. In Malayalam, we say, Ningalada maruvadi udan pradikshikkunnu. And this word udan, it means immediately. It actually means immediately. And when you see, I've given the 3 examples. Now in English, you say, in standard English, you translate it as, I look forward to hearing from you soon. But when you say, I look forward to hearing from you soon, for a Malayalam speaker who said that sentence in Malayalam and then wants to translate it for someone who understands only English, it doesn't have the same urgency, because what he meant is, I want a reply from you immediately. And that's what the sentence meant. So this is what I meant, your earliest response is requested. Your immediate response is what I expect. So we see how different the English language becomes in the hands of a non-native speaker who adapts it to his or her purposes. He or she alters syntax, knowing that it's needed to get at the required meaning, but the result is that a shade of urgency is there in the translation into English, as it has to be, which would be missing in the standard English variety. You know why I'm saying this? Because, I've been teaching for 26 years. And primarily when you teach literature, you deal with semantics, you deal with hermeneutics, you deal with meaning. And, I've often seen this problem with teachers that, they are very English centric, and they often miss this part of it, that they don't know how to balance between, some of them go in. For example, I was teaching in Saudi Arabia and in Libya, and I saw some teachers make the mistake of using Arabic in class to teach English. Now, this, as far as I'm concerned, is totally not the right way to go about inculcating the right approach to semantics in the students. But at the same time, I also saw others who were so British in their approach that they could not make out when the student was saying something in English, why he was saying something different from what you expected him to say. Where the mother tongue interference was actually supposed to work for the benefit of the student, and the student was losing out on that benefit in that interaction between the teacher and the student. I hope what I'm saying is clear to you. I hope it makes sense in terms of the semantic background I'm talking of. Then, so examples of how mother tongue interference in Malayalam, or you can say Hindi or Urdu or Persian or Pashtun or Arabic or whatever it is that your language is, works, in syntax and meaning or semantics. Now, this is what I want to talk about. The brain does not work in compartments. We don't have an English compartment and a mother tongue compartment in it. It would be ideal, if it was like two power boxes, like we often see, red means it's switched off, yellow, green means it's switched on, and that's the English box, and this is our mother tongue box. But it's actually two compartments, and it overlaps as in set theory in mathematics. I hope you know a bit of set theory. What that means is, if there's set A and set B, and set A is English and set B is Malayalam or your mother tongue, these two overlap. So there's a gray area which you can call C, where there is a kind of exchange or transfer going on, and then there's a part that's only English and there's a part that's only Malayalam, but these two parts merge gradually. And our hope is now this is the problem with teaching ESL, and many people think that what should happen is, where there's a second language, it should be a total blank, and the other one it should become just one set with only one language in it, either only Malayalam or only English. But it doesn't happen like that. So I have to that it's simple to look at it that way, but I put a picture here for us to understand. This is a picture that shows to an extent how our brain processes languages. It's not an accurate representation, but it's a tidy one. It's a neat one to make you understand. It's a mathematical one. Now, suppose, see, for example, look at me. And I'm a typical human being, just like all of you sitting in the room. And this is the truth about all of us, okay? Now, you see these red dots. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dots there. And most people actually juggle with about 8 languages in their daily life, whether you admit it or not, especially Indians. So, for me, this first red dot on the left side, it would be Malayalam, which is my mother tongue. And the other big dot on the right side on top, that would be English. And the big red dot on the bottom would be Hindi. And the next one would be Urdu. And you see those 4 dots at the back. And that would be languages like, Tamil, which I know something of by being next to the state, coming from Kerala. And another one would be Arabic, which I know something of because I stayed so many years in Arabic speaking countries. So we are all like this, okay? We're all like this. It's not like people think that language is a complex phenomenon. Semantics is a complex phenomenon. And what are these blue dots? And I need to talk about that also. And I need to talk about the difference a little. Blue dots are, the fact that we deal also with many other languages which we don't call languages, like, the languages of computer programming now, chess, swimming, mathematics, cycling, photography, learning driving vehicles. And those dots are not connected. They're not always connected. Of course, some of them are connected. If you learn how to drive a car, it's also connected to perhaps learning cycling and learning photography, because on this side it's both machine learning, and on this side it's technology. So even those dots can be connected, those blue dots, but the red dots are what we are going to concentrate on. So we make semantics work only if we begin to understand that we are dealing with this very complex subject, which I have tried to make a little simple for you with my picture. Yeah. Then now there is a, yeah. So there is a, now here you see this, if you see the two, you know, what I call the left one, that's my mother tongue, and the right one, that's English on top. You see that they're connected. There's a connecting rod. That's because there's a flow going on from this side to that side, like an electric flow, and from that side to this side, always in our conversations. And this flow or this transfer, this is what I mean when I gave those examples. You translate sentences from the source language into the target language, and you don't go for dynamic equivalence in syntax or meaning. This is something that we experience in real life. We learn English, and for a long time we haven't been anywhere near England or Britain. And what we this is the truth about, this is the truth about all of us. Please keep your mics muted. Please keep your mics muted. It's my request to you. So, you know, so how do we make sense of it? We read books, we see movies, we improve our accent, we improve our writing, our spelling, our vocabulary, our diction, everything. But we don't really have people. We don't really have people. We listen to the radio, but we make sense of it primarily by being self-translators. We explain meanings to ourselves in our own individual ways, and there are as many ways as there are students. And you know, this was something that in the first session that I was there, you know, some Tanya I think was talking of. So we differentiate. We see that there's a differentiation not only of how we should teach students, but also there should be a differentiation in the teacher of understanding that each student comes from a different context or background where semantics or making meaning is concerned, and he or she makes meaning in his or her own way, which is very different from the student sitting next to him or her. Actually, this is not how I should probably start this session. I should have given you a complete overview of semantics, but it's very boring and it's very technical, and you know, so I wanted to make it, this is an application, and from that you have to abstract the theories, which I'll briefly mention. So what happens, you know, what happens when this kind of thing happens in our lives? What happens is what is happening globally. This creates a colorful variety of English, or one can say even a fresh dialect that is both Indian and Malayali. What that means is there's something we call Indian English. There's something called Australian English. There's something called American English. There's something called Canadian English, English from New Zealand, something called British English. And there's something called Bangladeshi English. There should be at least. And there's something called Pakistani English, because it's all different. And in that English, which we call Indian English, there are now dialects. There are dialects. You know, there's something different about the way in which a Malayali speaks English, which is very different from the way in which Bengali like Rachna and Urna will be speaking, or someone from Punjab like Sadbir, but who's also from Delhi and Mumbai will be speaking. There's a difference in our Englishes, just like there's difference in our languages. And it's not just a difference in pronunciation. It's not just a difference in phonetics or phonology. It's a semantic difference. And this is the point I want to make. For example, I've given you a very interesting example here. You know, in Malayalam, it's right to say, instead of Riju, I'll change the name, you know, say Nyan Koshi, or Nyan Nur, or Nyan Rachana, or Nyan Urna, or Nyan Swati. You know, this is right to say this. It actually means I Koshi, if you literally translate it. There's no am. There's no verb there. And how does a Malayali student, and some of my Malayali students actually introduce themselves like this? Okay, so they will say myself Koshi, and some people will laugh. But the point is not that you love. The point is to try to understand that he is wrestling with the sentence in his mother tongue, and he is wrestling with how to put it across in English. And he instinctively senses that in English to say I Koshi is somehow not right. And so he comes up with something else like myself Koshi. And it is a process of meaning making on his part. It's a semantic process, and it's a step towards the right thing. So whereas in England you would say I am Koshi, or you would say I am Riju, or you would say my name is Koshi. So what happens here is you can laugh or not laugh, you can be amused or not amused, but some people are not going to stop saying myself Koshi. And what this forms is a dialect within Indian English, within the larger world of global English. So we have a dialect called Keralite English, and that's part of Indian English, which is a part of global English, of which British English is only one part now. And this is especially important to realize when we look at literature. So, we speak of English, we speak of Manglish, we speak of different kinds of English. And, but even as we speak of this, we also have to remember that this is also giving rise to new or altered or layered meanings and perceptions of the self, and to new meanings, works of literature, writing, and new horizons of thought and expression, communication, and ways of understanding and receiving spoken and written language in terms of semantics. So, I just give one more example to explain this, then I'll shift to literature to explain how it really works. Now, in Malayalam, you say market avadeyana. Market avadeyana. So, in Indian or in Kerala English, the literal translation is the market is there. But in English, in British English, you won't say the market is there. You say that is the market. I mean, you don't put market first and then point and say that market there. You don't say that. You say that is the market. So, syntax again. So, the Malayali juggles with syntax to get meaning across, but does not try to find the appropriate phrase in the original native speaker's mind that he would use in place of what the Malayali is trying to say. And so, and this is a difference in my thrust, he adds to the language's possibilities and richness, though initially it seems as if some of it is fumbling and stumbling. It may seem like that initially, but in the hands of someone who's really learning the language, he's actually adding to the richness of the language semantically. Then, yeah. So one last example, and now we come to how it works in culture, cultural inputs. In Malayalam, we have a saying, this is very small. We say, innu ravile, innu ravile. Now, this is very peculiar, okay? I don't know if it's there in other Indian languages. Maybe those who are Indians here can, help me. But innu ravile actually means, I mean, today morning. Now, nobody, I mean, if you're a Britisher, you'll find this very funny. Nobody says today morning, today afternoon, today evening, because you just say, it's morning, it's afternoon, it's evening. But this is very important for. This is very. It's a total cultural shift in the way in which we perceive time itself. although it's just two small words. So for a Malayali to say, today morning I will be getting up at 6 o'clock. And for the Britisher, it's as natural as saying, it's as natural as a Britisher saying, in the morning I will get up at 6 o'clock. Who won't understand at all why this today should come there. And that it's a total difference in language and culture and way of life, literally. So just to as the English language is flexible, it is changed by the speaker for convenience. The culture of the local language surely interferes with the target language in such aspects as pronunciation, vocabulary, syntax, grammar, and semantics. Indianism refers to the way a sentence has been structured, as if it was literally translated from an Indian language to English. This is what we mean by Indianisms when we speak of semantics. So these examples were taken, and with many more interesting examples, from a paper by Annie Thomas in Kerala. And I've given the link. But now let's look at how it works in literature. Let's look at how semantics works in literature, and then you'll begin to understand what I'm talking about, because I'm a teacher of literature, although I'm very well versed in language and in linguistics also. So this is Arundhati Roy. You can see her. She's world famous, and she's the author of her first novel, God of Small Things, which was written in 1997, which won the Booker Prize. So, she's half Malayali, half Keralite from her mother's side. Her mother's name was Mary. Her book shows us the increasing influence of Malayalam on the semantics of the English language. Books like these are changing the very landscape of English. Just like in Africa, Chinua-Achebe-based book, Things Fall Apart, or a book by a writer like Amos Tutuola, The Palm Wine Drinkard. Even the name, he says the palm wine drinkard, and not the drinker of palm wine, but drinkard. It changes the landscape of the English language, because before that we didn't know we could make words like that and enjoy it and use it without any fear of being called wrong. So in the case of Arundhati Roy, so in this book, God of Small Things, 1997, the central character is called Velutha. He's by many critics, he's considered the hero of the novel. Now, Velutha means white in Malayalam, or fair, from the word Veluthada. And the person spoken of is from the Dalit community, looked down upon by the so-called upper caste community for, among other things, being black, dark, or irundada or karthada. That's the opposite of Veluthada. So usually someone would name him, the dark one. But here she names him the fair one, and she uses a Malayalam word. And what this does is, it changes the entire landscape in a way, because this ironic and symbolic usage of the word opens a novel into being both bilingual and also twists the colonial masters' expectations that we should understand their language into an equal playing field where they have to understand ours too, to get at the meaning of the text. This also opens it out to the same challenge to other linguistic chauvinists or supremacists who claim their language is superior. So, it works not only as against colonialism, but also against neo-colonialism, or against anyone who says my language is superior. When you start using words from your own language, when you start using proverbs and phrases from your own language, and you don't translate them, and you don't give footnotes, and then people begin to enter a new realm of semantics, which is like the picture I showed you, that their brain starts to work and they understand they're juggling with many languages, and it actually improves your brain power in terms of semantics. Now, this is another great writer. These writers, I've chosen these writers for a purpose, okay? I come from South India. So first I've taken a Malayali, half Malayali writer. And this writer is from Karnataka, where I am now, Bangalore. This is Raja Rao. He was considered one of the three great writers of India in the beginning stages of writing Indian English in the field of the novel, Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, and Mulkraj Anand. And, he of course passed away. But, he was a Kannada writer who wrote in English, like you are Anandamurthy, who's a Sahitya Academy Award winner, who's also Kannadiga. But he writes in Kannada, Anandamurthy. But Raja Rao wrote in English. And Girish Karnad is also there. He writes in Kannada and in English. Now, I don't know, I have studied Kantapura. That's why I took it. Now in Kantapura, it's Kantapura and Guide and all are about Mahatma Gandhi to a great extent. I hope Santosh is still there and she hasn't gone away. So this section, I'll read it. And the police got nervous and they began to kick us in our backs and stomachs. And the crowd shouted Mahatma Gandhi ki jai. And someone took a kerosene tin and began to beat it. And someone took a cattle bell and began to ring it. And they cried, with them, brothers, with them. And they leaped and they ducked and they came down to lie beside us. And we shouted Mahatma Gandhi ki jai, Mahatma Gandhi ki jai. So, this kind of English, he wrote it purposefully because he wanted to have the Kannada lilt and rhythm in the language. And you can see he's breaking all the traditional rules of what people say you should do. For example, you're not supposed to start a sentence with and. And you're not supposed to write such long sentences. And you're not supposed to keep, adumbrating or adding on to sentence after sentence using the conjunction and. And in between, he brings in Hindi. When the strikers or the freedom fighters are saying Mahatma Gandhi ki jai, that's Hindi, right? He brings in Hindi. And, he brings in the culture, one person takes a cattle bell and begins to ring it. So you see that, again, you see semantics being brought into operation, which fits into the background and context it is coming from, as well as opens that world out to others, whereas earlier writers would try to write in such a way that, they resemble the Romantics and the Victorians, which was, trying to gain acceptance in the beginning stages. For example, someone like Michael Madhusudan Dutt, he has a poem which has the word laddie, L-A-D-D-I-E in it, laddie. I mean, now who would use a word like laddie? But then he had to do it because he was trying to match and, write like Tennyson and other writers like that. But here we see a different track where indigenization and Indianization of the semantics of the language is beginning to happen. Yeah, then, so we see in that quote the fact that the writer tries to mimic onomatopoeically the thought process of someone thinking in English, but also someone who's tremendously influenced by the mother tongue in this narration and translating from it and echoing the fact that something translated from the Indian mother tongue to English often becomes double its size in length and in speech, as well as writing using simple conjunctions like and anaphora to stitch sentences together to get at the emotion, excitement, and pride in the freedom struggle that is wanted. So one more quote from Kantapura. Then the wind comes so swift and dashing that it takes the autumn leaves with it, and they rise into the juggling air while the trees bleat and blubber. Then drops fall, big as the thumb. The earth itself seems to heave up and cheep in the monsoon rains. It churns and splashes, beats against the treetops, reckless and willful, and suddenly floating forwards, it bucks back and spits forward and pours down upon the green, weak coffee leaves, thumping them down to the earth. Notice the use of the present tense and the use of local idiomatic phrases like bleat and blubber, big as a thumb, and the transference of juggling. He says juggling air. He doesn't say the leaves are juggling, but he says the air is juggling. So, it's a totally new kind of uh, play of semantics in action. Then from Tamil Nadu. So I've taken my state, Kerala, and Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, there's R.K. Narayan, and this is Timeless Malgudi. And Indian English thus is developing its own versions and hybrids like Malayalam English, Kannada English, and Tamil English. At the level of semantics, this is bringing in words from the mother tongue or other languages, or a bilingualism or trilingualism, in syntax to alter meanings to suit local contexts, in using local proverbs and idioms and folk tales as in Chinua Achebe, in symbols drawn from local environments, etc. So I'll close with this example from R.K. Narayan's famous Malgudi days. If you threw a stone into a gutter, it would only spurt filth in your face. So this is an example of something purely introduced by Indian English or Tamil English into English. I mean, definitely a sentence like this wouldn't be written by a in America or in UK. So finally, to come to semantics, connecting literature, semantics, and the native influence. So here you have, I've given a brief list. In the theory of semantics, you have theories like the referential theory, the representational theory, conceptual meaning, associative meaning, social meaning, reflected meaning, thematic meaning. You have ambiguity, lexical ambiguity, structural ambiguity, the acceptability theory, acceptability miraculously, traditional approach, the functional approach, the pragmatic approach. I mean, this is nothing. Okay, I could talk for 2, 3, 4 hours just about the theory of semantics, but I'm just giving you a very brief overview to start with. And what I want to say is all these things can be applied to these novels also. And there are other examples like translations of V.M. Bashir into English by Asher, which I could quote, or Weekend's Malayalam, where the crossover is from English to Malayalam, the influence of English on Malayalam, or translation from Thagari's Chemin into English. But I stop here for now by saying all these varieties of English, Indian English dialects, bilingual texts or trilingual or multilingual texts show the influence of native languages on English in terms of semantics and can be studied in terms of the theory of semantics. These are 3 writers I mentioned: Bashir, VKN, who writes in Malayalam, and Thagari, who wrote the famous novel Chemin, which is a famous film in India. Thank you. Tirashila. Tirashila means curtain, love fan. That's French for the end. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, my respected sir, for sharing your insightful presentation. Trust me, you have chosen a great topic, that is semantics and the native influence of Malayalam on English. And I'll just quote something that I have learned from you. Though you are showing some examples of regarding how can Malayalam to English and how it translated, you also quote a great thing, that is the brain doesn't work in compartment. We don't have English compartment and the mother tongue compartment, and there is an overlap in the state theory. And another thing, you also show flows, that how translate sentences from the source language into the other target language, but not the dynamic equivalence in the syntax or meaning. You also share some the authors, that is Arundhati Roy, Raja Rao, and R.K. Narayan, and share that how they connecting the literature, semantics, and the native influences. Thank you so much, sir. And this is how you are a global educators, because you are sharing your presentation like this way. That seems like, yes, we are enjoying and just want to know knowing something. And just we are connecting ourselves with those words. How can we pronounce this word, as well as we can learn something from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. So move on to the another great international educators. Well, I'm connecting with her by so long, man, and I have been seeing that she has been teaching from 16 years, and she is an executive member of the Global Edu Leaders. and she is the international advisory board members of Kids Education, is icon of the leader, and is a professor of English at CSM Santa Catarina. And moreover, you know why this global education bring changes, because the way of teaching is changing, and because of that, this speaker is the icon of teacher of any student. So without further ado, I would like to call my respective teachers, my respective sisters, Vilma de Barbosa from Brazil. Sister, floor is yours.
Good morning from Brazil. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure being here, learning with you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So today, let's talk a little bit about the influence of English, our native language in English. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Portuguese. Yes, here in Brazil, we speak Portuguese, not English, not Spanish. Everyone thinks that we speak Spanish around here because the countries next to us, they speak Spanish, but here in Brazil, we speak Portuguese. And so let me tell you a little bit about the Portuguese English, the influence of Portuguese into English language. Well, Portuguese is one of the most important spoken language around the world today. Not only it is the sixth most spoken language in the world, but it has a presence on almost all the continents. It is the official language of 9 countries. And there is a misconception that Portuguese is only spoken in Portugal and Brazil. But I've realized that many people around the world think that we speak Spanish, not Portuguese. But then Portuguese is one language spoken in 9 countries as the official language: Portugal, Brazil, Mozambique, Angola, Guinea-Bissau, Timor-Leste, Equatorial Guinea, Cape Verde, and São Tomé and Príncipe. Furthermore, Portuguese is the official language of the Chinese Autonomous Territory of Macau. And only 5% of Portuguese speakers live in Portugal, in fact. But the way we speak Portuguese here in Brazil is a little different as the way they speak Portuguese in Portugal. It's the same as English, American English, and British English. They are different. The accent is different. There are some words that we use in a different way, so it's not the same. Unsurprisingly, with populous countries such as Brazil and Mozambique having as their official language, the majority of Portuguese speakers are not from Portugal, as I told before. However, the estimated proportions of Portuguese speakers outside of Portugal are quite standing. It is the fastest growing European language in the world behind English. Due to the huge number of Portuguese speakers around the world, it is the 6th most spoken language on the planet. It is its distribution across South America, Europe, and Africa and Asia. Portuguese is growing fast and has the potential to be an international communication language, according to UNESCO. So maybe in the future, Portuguese will be one of the most spoken language, so important as English. I hope my students don't know that for a while, because I have had hard work convincing them that English is really important and that we have to study English to communicate with the world. If they know about that, that Portuguese has a tendency to become one of the most important one and one of the ones spoken all around the world, maybe they will be less interested about English. So Portuguese has 2 verbs meaning be. Do you know that? In English, we have the verb to be, I am, you are, he is, she is, and so on. And it has one meaning. In Portuguese, it has 2 different meanings. It has the meaning ser and estar. For example, I am a teacher. This is something, I am a teacher. And we can say, I am at SESC. If I say, I am a teacher, it means eu sou professora. If I say, I am at SESC, it means Estou no SESC. SESC is the name of the school I work. So in Portuguese, it has two different meanings, and in English, just one. So there are many words that we use in English that came from the Portuguese language. Do you know about that? So there are many, many ones. I'm going to show you and teach you about them. One of the best ways to remember new vocabulary is to connect it with something else. If you connect new words with words or concepts that you already know, are familiar, and you are familiar with, it's better. If you have visited Brazil or are familiar with Brazilian culture, some of these words will be already familiar to you. But you may not know that they are used in English. Yes, there are many Brazilian words that are used in English. So, and then when Brazilian and Portuguese people learn English, it becomes easier to understand because they already know the meaning of the words, and then it becomes easier. So I'm going to tell you the ones that you use in English, that is Portuguese ones. So most of them are related to our geography and related to our culture. So as there are some things that we don't have in other countries, just here in Latin America, just here in Brazil, so we use the words in Portuguese. So the first one is açaí. Have you ever heard about açaí? Açaí is a berry made into a smoothie and sometimes other products, trendy with healthy nuts. So if you come to Brazil, for sure, you heard about açaí. I'm going to show you the pics later. And do you know that even the word banana is actually from African origins, but made its way into English via South America? Same in Spanish. So the banana word that you use in English, it came from South America and from our side. There is something that is really popular here in Brazil. Maybe you have heard about that. It's called caipirinha. The national drink, really popular in the United States now. Yes, the caipirinha is from Brazil. There is another one called capoeira. Capoeira is a martial art made popular in Brazil and exported to the US and the worldwide. I'm going to show you the pictures later, and then you're going to tell me if you have those things there in your country. Cashew, it's a kind of nut, and it is from Brazil, and it is exported all around the world these days. Do you know the coconut, the one that you drink the water from when you go to the beach? Well, it is from Brazil. The word is from Brazil. Creole. Creole is a mix of cultures, usually European Black in the Americas. And we have another word that is used in English. It's called dodo. Dodo, unclear origins, but it's a kind of bird. If you call someone a dodo, maybe you can, it's a bird. Now it doesn't exist anymore here in Brazil. It was extinct. But in English, if you say, oh, stop being a dodo, it means, oh, stop being crazy, be smarter. You are crazy, you are dumb. So you are a dodo. You can say that in English. And Brazilian dish that we have here is the feijoada, the national Brazilian dish with black beans and pork. It's a delicious dish. And if you are out there anywhere in the world that you are talking about that with Brazilians or with anyone else that had came to Brazil or maybe learned how to make it and then are preparing their countries, they will call feijoada. There's no other way to say that in English because it is from Brazil, so no way to translate. Another thing that we have is farofa. Farofa is toasted cassava that you put on feijoada. I'm going to show you that later and you feel hungry, I'm sure. Another word that we have here is the flamingo. The flamingo is a funny looking pink bird that lives in tropical climates like Florida. It's a beautiful bird, and its name is flamingo. I'm gonna show you. We have guarana. Guarana is a seed that gives natural caffeine. It is used in many products when you are going to the gym or when you are feeling so tired, and then you eat something that contains guarana and you feel better. In fact, here in Brazil and in many countries, they prepare some pills, energetic pills that you take when you are feeling down, when you are feeling with no energy, and then it brings you energy. And there is also a soft drink, really famous here in Brazil, called Guaraná. It's a kind of soft drink. And we have lambada. Lambada is a type of song and dance, really popular here in Brazil, and it is used in Portuguese language. Lounge, in English, to launch means to put a boat in water. It comes from something that we have here called lancha. So to launch comes from Brazil, from the word lancha. Lingo is another word that we use in English that is from Portuguese. Lingo means jargon, dialect of foreign language. And the meaning from Portuguese, língua, meaning language. Mango, a fruit that comes from the Portuguese and Spanish manga. So the mango in English is from manga. In Portuguese, we say manga. Manioc, a kind of starch vegetable like a potato that comes from the Portuguese mandioca, and many products are made of it. Another word that is from Brazil is the word mosquito. That annoying bug that drinks your blood and gives you a night bump. Yeah, mosquito comes from mosquito in Portuguese. Negro, meaning person of African ancestry, really should not be used in English, as now it is considered inappropriate. But it's the word used for generally for black ones. Then in Brazil we can say, oh, he's a Negro. Negro in Portuguese. Piranha. Piranha is a fish with sharp teeth. I'm really afraid of them. And it's interesting that this word piranha, it's a fish, but in slang, they use this word to talk about those girls that sell their bodies or something like that. In Brazil, people call them piranha. So two different meanings according to the context. Another word we have is potato. Potato in English came from batata in Portuguese. Yeah. Samba. I'm sure all of you have heard about the Brazilian samba because of the carnival famous here in Brazil, and the dance from the carnival is called samba. And everywhere you go around the world, you call it samba. And we have another word that is popular here. It's called tapioca, a kind of flour or pyramid made from manioc or cassava. And another word famous out there that is from here is the word zombie, a fictional character or a person who has died and is still walking. Have you watched the series Walking Dead? There are many zombies there. And there is also a series of a girl that is called Zombie. I love that series. And then zombie is from English, Portuguese, from our history. So there are many words really famous out there that came from the Portuguese language. I think you have never heard about that before. And it's really interesting because when we teach our students that the English language is made from many different languages all around the world, they become more interested and it's easier for them to understand, and it's easier for them to evaluate even their own language because they realize that their language is out there everywhere in the language and in English language as well. One thing also that we have to show our students and teach our students is when they are learning English is about the accent. Yes, not just about the English themselves, but about accent. because mainly my Brazilian students, they were really worried in the beginning about the Brazilian accent, because some of them used to say that they wanted to speak like an American native speaker. And then it was hard work for me teaching them that they don't have to worry about having the American accent. They have to be proud of their Brazilian accent, their accent, because anywhere around the world, for example, if we talk with Nur from Bangladesh, he has the accent from his country. If we talk with Rachna from India, she has the Indian accent. If we talk with Rakesh from Qatar, he has his own accent. So this is what makes each person unique. So when you are learning English or any other language, you don't have to worry about having the accent from native speakers, because everyone will have their own accent. And this is what makes us unique. And this is something that we have to be proud of. And once our students are able to do that, once they are able to realize they don't have to speak like an American one, they can be fluent in English and they don't have to worry about having another accent. They have to be proud of their own accent. They become more confident and free to learn English and to communicate with people from all around the world, because English is only one language. You can be fluent on it, and you can have your own accent. And that's the beautiful thing about talking English, having your own identity. So yes, I speak English. This is a sentence that I teach my students and I make them repeat many, many times. Yes, I am Brazilian. I speak English. I am fluent in English, but I have my Brazilian accent and I am proud of that. Since they believe that, they become more confident and they communicate in English more in a better way. And that's a really wonderful thing. That's all from me. I'm really thankful for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your great way. This is how you're a student you like most. And yes, you have shared some great way. And the last part I will share later that touched me a lot. Okay, you introduced the Portuguese language and how much, which country main language is Portuguese. You also mentioned that that's really great. And you also shared that how native words are different to the second words or English, whatever you said. And you gave some examples. This is very interesting that I have learned something from you. And yes, the final word that I love most that is you can speak English by your own accent and it would be proud of yourself. You should be proud. So this is the great spirit. And I know that my accent is kind of different than others, but yes, I'm proud of my accent. And thank you so much for realizing these things to me. Thank you so much for having us. All right,
Thank you.
so move on. Our next speaker, my pleasure. So our next speaker is another international educator. So if I mention some of his words and some of his designations, I have to say that he has more than 30 years of teaching experience, 10 years as an administrator, and he is currently working in CBSE school in Qatar. He also coordinate activities on Eco Club, Quiz Club, disaster management, discipline, and so many. Wow. And definitely, who is the model of the student. So without further ado, I would like to call honorable speaker of today, Mr. Rakesh Verma. Sir, floor is yours.
Good evening. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Good evening, Ambassador Nur Ahmed, and thank you very much, Rashna ma'am, for giving me a chance. And good evening or good afternoon to Vilma ma'am, Elizabeth ma'am, and Sir Ambassador. Uh, just to start with, I will be little humor on Miss Vilma's potato. If Portuguese did not have come to India, we would not have potatoes. And potato is my favorite vegetable. Every child is vegetable. So in that way, we are very indebted to Portuguese who came to Goa at the starting of the before British. If British would have not come, we would have in Portuguese language here, India also, as he was telling, seventh largest language in the world. Anyway, language is a communication media, means of communication. Language doesn't have any, barrier or accent, or it doesn't need. Till we give our information or we communicate to others what we want to tell, what we express, language purpose is done. Whether we say often, or we say often, we say guardian, we say guardian, we say poem, we say poem, everyone understands what we want to say. The only thing is some people think that Queen English has gone, American English has come, as Microsoft is the main media in computer language. And to just a humor, I'm telling. Sorry for making a humor out of language. Now, if you can permit me, can I start a PPT to make it clear so that the words are, my pronunciation may not be easy for Vilma ma'am or others to understand because I have my own accent. I am a
Yes,
Punjabi.
sir.
Yes.
You can share your
I'll
screen.
do. I'm a Punjabi by birth and Bengali by life, by brought up in Bengal. So my accent is both Bengali and Punjabi, and I am 10 years here in Qatar. So I'm a little bit Arabic also. You can see my English, Wilma ma'am, is multinational English.
শুনে ভালো লাগলো.
Ah, ভালো 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 লাগবে. When I was in pardon me, I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Can I start?
Yes.
Now, as the screen says, uh, we only understand. We don't, the people who want to understand me will not understand, will not look at me with my accent. They will understand and hear my words. So the words are the main important thing in language. Grammar, spoken, especially spoken language. So spoken English, if we communicate properly and we maybe make mistake, it was a child who is born within 2 years, he understands without going to school the mother tongue. He doesn't know grammar. He or she only will be uh, communicating to mother or father or to family. How? Without going to school? The question is, we should make our stress, or we should emphasize on the words. Okay. Like we are also indebted to our Indian languages for many words which have come to the Oxford Dictionary, like nirvana, shampoo, Kashmir, ginger, bungalow, all are from Indian languages. They have been exported to Europe and then later in England. So I'll be just giving example. Ginger, pepper, indigo. Ginger has come from Malayalam, as Mr. Ampak was telling, and it was given taken to Greece, and ultimately became a English word. Mango, what Vilma ma'am was telling, mango has come from Malayalam and Tamil language, mangai. It has been taken by Portuguese to their country and then it became manga and afterwards mango. Kashmir, Kashmir from the Kashmiri sheep. Shampoo, champo, we say champ, massage, in Hindi we say champo. In that way, warm water used for massage became shampoo. Dinghy, juggernaut. Dinghy, the boat, small boat used by fishermen, Indian fishermen. Juggernaut, Jagannath, the Lord Jagannath of Odisha. Similarly, bungalow came from Bangla. Bangla is a Hindi word for a one-story, single-story house. Cheetah, leopard. Cart, from cart came cot, what we use for to sleep outside. Jungle, the forest. And I will just, I'm little going fast because it becomes boring if I speak same thing again and again. I just wanted to differentiate and I change my PPT to suit little difference from the other speakers. So I want to say, like the accent I was telling, we say vitamin, now it came vitamin. People say guardian. We say guardian in India. They say often. We say often. Now they say schedule. We say schedule. They say poem. We say poem. We say Wednesday. They say Wednesday. We say almond. The general people all over the world, they may differ. They say almond. We say fox pass. They say faux pas. They say debut. We say debut. They say coup. We say coup. They say sweet. We say suit. They say pizza. We say pizza. They say asthma. We say asthma. They say heart. We say hurt. They say women. We say woman. Similarly, they say cache, we say cache. They say debris, we say debris. They say data, we say data. They say lingerie, we say lingerie. They say coupon, we say coupon. They say iron, we say iron. That way, tomb, we use the word birth. They say tomb. So, in this way, I want to emphasize that we say something else. We think we say the best English. Other people say they say the best English. But ultimately, communication is done. People understand. I in Qatar have multinational environment. Each one, the Filipinos, the Nepalis, the Bangladeshis, the Indian, especially the Keralites, all have different accents. But we just communicate with each other. Students also have different teachers from different India only, and the different parts of India. So we don't care for any difference of accent or something. Only thing is we have some fun at times because some words in our language is some meaning different, in some other language is it different. In India only, just India is a very diverse country. For example, we say chumma. Chumma in Hindi means kiss, but in my colleagues from Kerala has some other meaning. So people laugh. We say patti to bandage. So they have patti means dog. We say panni to plastic, the bag, plastic bag. They say panni to pig. So in that way, language has little fun. Language is to be used for communicating and enjoying. Language is not to make, mockery of anyone. So I just want to show one video, if you permit. Can I show?
Yes, sir, you can.
I hope I was brief, but I could, tell you ultimately what I want to tell. I could deliver my message. By the time I'm switching on my video.
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
We can get your message crystal clearly.
Because
that how can you share your information?
I do not want to become a little boring because actually it was English is not my subject. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll just show you.
Sir, I think sound is not
okay, 1 minute.
sound is not coming. So if you can plug off your earphone, it would be okay, I think. Sir, sound is still not. No, sir. Sir, can you please plug off your earphone or headphone, whatever you said? It would be great because I think sometimes it's happened whenever you can.
No, we can't share the sound in case.
Whenever you connect with your headphone, that time your the video that you want to share that won't get the sound. So it would be great if you plug off your headphone from the computer or laptop and you can share the screen. It would be great, I think.
Anyway, I will not waste time. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Loud and clear.
I found because my something wrong with this old laptop. I have an old laptop actually. Poor guy. I don't believe in new gadgets. I don't want to waste these gadgets. People buy Apple 13 to, and I don't know what they do with the Apple 12. And the last but not the least, I want to just tell that language, English language, we are indebted to English people who came to India, and that's why we are having a great command in English, or else we would not have been so much in English way. But it's a blessing in disguise, and ultimately uh, we we are living in the world. Indians are there all over the world because of English only. If we could not communicate, if we did not have English books in higher studies, if we could not have any English medium schools, our children would not have gone to foreign universities easily. So this is indebted by our colonial rule in India. And as far as the influence is concerned, India in English has influenced us a lot. I was in Calcutta. I could see the people who did not go to English school, or in fact they did not go to school, the rickshaw walas or the laborers. They could have English words in Bengali language. For example, if they see something very good, they'll say heavy. It is in Bengali. It's খুব ভালো. It's good heavy. Heavy. Janis heavy. Not heavy means having weight. Heavy means very good. Similarly, fun, uh, fantastic, or you can say very pathetic. Sometimes something happened on the road, accident, something, or someone died in a very young age. So they were telling, keep pathetic. So in that way, Bengali language, because of the English people coming first to Calcutta, first to West Bengal, or to Bengal to be precise, because there was no Bangladesh that time. So in that way, Bengali language has taken English words also. Like Wilma ma'am, and I was telling, English has taken our words. We have also adopted their words in our own language. So we should not be always criticizing colonial rule, and we should say that yeah, we are indebted to English people who came to India, and so today we are also part of the first language or the highest speakers in the world. Or else we would also be like Chinese, learning English while from the Disneyland, or from other, like Vilma ma'am is teaching English, or some teacher would be only teaching English. And that way we have lot of English medium schools, and we have sister school, convent schools. We have our other religion also teaching in the English medium school. So we are very fortunate enough in that way, because of English spreading fast all over the world. In Portuguese, ma'am, Vilma ma'am was telling, if it is Portuguese, Vilma ma'am, I will be your student. I will be Vilma ma'am's student for learning Portuguese. Will you take me? Vilma ma'am is not hearing me. Vilma ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
I will, if Portuguese will become the first language, as you saying, it's very going very fast. So I will be your student to learn Portuguese.
Oh, you would be my student?
Yeah, because you predicted that Portuguese will become the very fast, the largest speaker. You told me just in your speech. So I will be very much learning Portuguese from you. I know some words. Você bem? How are you? Isn't it? So what I was saying, that we should always have a tendency to learn and unlearn and relearn like the teacher. So in that way, English as a language to learn, Portuguese as a language to learn. And since I am a teacher of not an English, to be precise, political science, social science, but I love language, all the language, especially English is the medium. So in that way, I just wanted to have little off the track speak, and I wanted to show the Amitabh Bachchan's one scene where he say, I can talk in English, I can walk in English, I can dance in English, I can sleep in English, from Namak Halal movie. But unfortunately, Rachna ma'am, if you can do, you can show in one of the programs, so that people know that our movies also have humor in English. And he will speak Anna Hazare, Vijay Hazare. Remember, Rachna ma'am, that dialogue in very, very fast English, that he wanted to impress that he knows English. So to conclude, what I want to say, English or any other language as a whole is a part of our communication. So like Mr. Ampat was saying, if he was Minotaur, he is the gem of a person regarding English. But sir, sorry for becoming very novice speaker in English. But I just wanted to have a little bit of humor, so that we are of the little monotonous a very hard speech. Okay, and then I wanted to supplement Wilma ma'am that no, my Wilma ma'am, India also has many words which Britishers took away from us and then put in the Oxford Dictionary, and today they are preaching all over the world. So in that way, we also are there, and we are having our English words in our language. We speak English. The people who don't know English, they speak English. English words. Bazaar. Bazaar also has taken from India. They have taken the word for market, bazaar. So all these things, because Britishers came to us. So we are very fortunate. We don't have to teach people when we speak Hindi. My friends are speaking Hindi in England. When they say bazaar in Hindi, कि बाजार जाएंगे, the English people understand because they know bazaar is market. So we are very fortunate. We Indians are, and then we have ministers from Indian origin in UK and now Vice President USA. So we are very much fortunate to have English speakers from our, country. Thank you so much for giving me a chance, and maybe I live up to your expectation. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But why I thank you so much? Because you are sharing your words such a great way that I feel like, yes, we are doing some interactive conversation. And yes, খুব ভালো লেগেছে কারণ আপনি অসাধারণ ভাবে বলেছেন আর
No,
বাংলা থেকে অনেক
sorry.
অনেক
No,
অনেক শব্দ ইংলিশে নিয়েছে
my aim as a teacher, what I 30 years, what I learned is that everyone is a student. I have to feel. I am also a student. So students have one tendency of going off the track. 7 minutes, more than 7 minutes, if you hear, the mind doesn't have the capacity to understand. So I have to break. I crack jokes. Now I do not want, because there are senior people here. So the topic is very serious. But we have to crack joke to make the audience come back to us. So our student is the audience. So I just do like this. So I wanted this experiment to be little less serious, because it was very serious. That day I went to, drink water and in the middle putting the camera off. So it was so serious. So, Ampasas, you gave us so much of knowledge, बहुत हो गया at the age of crossing up to more than 50. So, understand, sir. So, I did not know anything about English, what Ampasas was telling. So I thought I was like a class 5 student. No, so sir, they say if you don't have hunger, you give biryani and everything, and then understand what will happen. You have the liking of that food, but you don't have hunger. So similarly, I wanted to little bit break the seriousness, so that maybe, sorry, Ampar sir, maybe your other teachers thought what is going on, but little bit of this thing I did, so that the next speaker will have good audience and good concentration of the people.
well can you please
Wilma ma'am is not understanding my English because I am speaking American English, not American English, very super fast supersonic English. This has come due to Bengali. Bengali language is very fast.
Exactly.
My wife also understood after 2-3 years. My Hindi or English. They say we speak very fast. What to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you please, everyone, give the electronic claps, love, all the 3 speakers they have shared with us. And you can give the claps by opening your video camera. Yes, sir. I do believe one thing, that is, whenever you have a chance to think your dream big. Whenever you have chance to think out of the box. And whenever you have chance to learn out of your boundary. That I love to learn, and that's why I just invest all my personal life in learning. When I just return from office, I just come on the laptop. I'm opening my smart device to learn some opportunities. I'm focusing on some platform that's where I can enrich my quality, enrich my knowledge, enrich my idea. That is not necessary that you are from this background, you have to have knowledge, only this background. You have to have knowledge with others' background too. That will help you to share, that will help you to think, even that will help you to realize in your day-to-day life. Thank you so much, sir. You have shared that how the words are pronounced in different way in different country. Even the communication purpose is done through the different pronunciation. So pronunciation is not a big deal. Big deal is all about your words are understandable or not. Thank you so much, sir, for your beautiful way. And খুব ভালো লাগলো ভবিষ্যতে আপনাকে আবার দেখবো and thank you for being with us. So now I'm going to move another great speaker of today, and I have to say she's also my beloved sister. She also inspired me a lot. Whenever I get chance to talk with her, he always inspired me. That's do something, and you're doing great. Congratulations, and some other things. That's charged me a lot to do more. So just I'm going to introduce her. That is, she is the outstanding principal Global Academy of Human Excellency, is the ambassador of Women Affairs, the president of CELI, that is Council of Empowered Ladies International of Philippines, and she is the international speaker, international writer, author, communicator, and development leader. So without further ado, I'd like to call Ambassador Dr. Lilibet de Gregorio from Philippines. Sister, floor is yours. We are really
Yes.
waiting to hear from you.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you, to the world. And of course, for the invitation, Rashana, you're very great. And of course, my brother, Ambassador Nur Ahmed, and all the participants here tonight. And thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity that we have. And I know that our speakers now is very positive insights of our topic today. So semantics in our Philippine situation. And I go over with the semantics on the special education or inclusive program. So I have my slides. So I have to introduce to you first the basic background of semantics, and then I have to present it to you how the Philippine internalized the Philippine SPED or with the sign languages, and of course people with the course of the educational frontliners with tribal community, which is the indigenous person, and of course the all substantive learning system. All right. So, brother, is it ready?
Yes, Rachanadi, can you please share the screen?
Okay. All right. So I have to present first the basic of the semantics so that everybody knows, and I know that everybody knows about this. And this is a very basic to us as a Filipino, and of course as English language. So we can have the semantics in our native language. All right. So in the next slides, what is semantics now? So we can have here that semantics is semasiology, is a branch of lexicology that is devoted to the study of word meaning. All right. So it's a study of the meaning of words, the phrases and sentences in a language system. All right. In the other slides, we can find now the branches of semantics. We have here now the formal semantics, studies the logical aspects of meaning such as the sense, the reference, the implication. And the number two, we have the lexical semantics. We have the studies word meanings and the world relation. Yes, so we have different word meaning in the different words. So conceptual semantics studies the cognitive structure of meaning. All right, so it depends on the different meaning of this word. All right, in the next slides, the origin of semantics we have here. Meaning has interested philosophers for thousands of years. The Greek philosophers were the first people known to have debated the nature of meaning. They held two opposing views on the subject. The naturalist view, they held by Plato, and his followers maintained that there was a direct association between a word and its meaning, and the words were only names, the objects. All right, on the next slides. Now here, Geoffrey Lick, in his Semantic, a study of meaning, so that was 1974, he breaks down meaning into 7 types of ingredients, giving primacy to conceptual meaning. All right, so you have also informed about that this have a 7 ingredients of the conceptual meaning. All right, so Okay, and the types of the semantics we can have now on the next slides. You can see there the 7 types of semantics meaning. All right, we have the connotative, the collocative, the semantic, the affective, reflected, the social, and conceptual. So they have different meaning of each of these words, but they have to say a brief meaning in order to have for you to more background on this semantics meaning. All right. So what is now the conceptual meaning? The next slide, please. Yes, this is the conceptual meaning. It's also called the logical or cognitive meaning. It is the basic preposition meaning, which corresponds to the primary dictionary definition. All right, if you want this meaning, you can find in either dictionary or any encyclopedia you can have in your at home. All right. In the essential or core meaning and the literal meaning of the word, indicating the area of concept to which it refers. Example of this is similarly the boy plus human plus humble or adult. So the hierarchical structure of boy, the human plus male and adult. So we have the structure of hierarchical meaning of the boy, either human, male, or adult. Next, how about the connotative meaning? So what can we define on this? So the communicative value of an expression over and above its purely conceptual context. It is something that goes beyond mere referent of a word and hint at its attributes in the real world. So a connotative vary age to age, the society to society to society. All right, so the example of this is the old age women or non-trouser wearing of sari wearing. All right, so the present that we are going to have this explanation is women wearing t-shirt or jeans wearing. All right, so we have a different meaning. All right, the social meaning. All right, the social meaning we can have here, the meaning conveyed by the piece of languages about the social context of its use is called the social meaning. So what is the example of this? So related to the situation in which an utterance is used. So I don't done nothing. All right, so what is now the meaning of that? The lines tells us about the speaker, and that speaker is probably a Black American, privileged and uneducated, but you can have that very versatile of situation. So we can have either the Filipino, we can have not going to school, but because of this privilege. So after that, I am going to give you the privilege of the special skills of the exceptional children or exceptional person. All right, so we can relate on that situation. All right, next. So in the affective or emotive meaning, it refers to emotive association or the effects of words evoked in the reader, the listener. It was it conveyed about the personal feeling or attitude towards the listener. So example of that is home for a sailor, soldier, or expatriate, or a mother for a motherless child. So the meaning of that is a married woman will have a special effective and emotive quality. All right. So the meaning of that is a one example of a married woman will have a special and effective emotive quality. So emotive quality and a married woman with special effective is one, precisely the same meaning. So refers to what the convey about the feeling and attitude of the speaker through use of language. So attitude to listener as well as attitude to what he is saying. So it depends the man on the attitude of what the speaker is talking. All right, on the next slide, we have on the reflected meaning. So this reflected meaning, we can identify now that it arises when a word has more than one conceptual meaning or multiple conceptual meaning. So they have the different synonyms of its word. So reflected meaning is also found in taboo words. Example, the could not but be gay in such Jacon and company. All right. So another word for this gay is frequent use in the time of William Wordsworth, but the word now is used for him is homosexuality. All right, so this is now on the human. We have rights that this is of course a part of this quality. The gay is also what we call the homosexuality. So they have different meaning on that. All right. Next, the collocative meaning. And what is its collocative meaning? The meaning which a word acquires in the company of certain words. So words allocate or occur with certain words only. All right. So example of this is big business, not large or great. All right. So we have the big, we have the large, and the next
Hello, I'm sorry,
and
sorry to
a great.
interrupt. Can you please mute yourself? Who is not a speaker?
All
Okay,
right.
sister, please go on.
Yes. So another example, yes, as I said, that we have a different meaning or many, we have a more meaning of this with the big, a large, and great. So it also refers to association of a word because of its usual or habitual co-occurrence in certain type of words. So on the next slides, we have on the next, yes, example, we have a pretty and handsome, indicate good looking. So we can also indicate awesome, wonderful, or beautiful. You can add on that. How about the semantic meaning? All right. It refers to what is communicated by the way in which a speaker or writer organizes the message in terms of ordering, focus, and emphasis. All right. Example is Mr. Smith donated the first prize. So number two, the first prize was donated by Mr. Smith. So in the first sentence, who gave away the prize? So it's more important. But in the second sentence, what did Mr. Smith give is important. Thus, the change of focus changed the meaning also. All right, so you can identify it now. So it depends on how you express the meaning, in how you deliver the sentence. It depends what the person can be interpreted. So this is what we have on the thematic meaning. All right. So before I have to end this, I have to share with you that in the Philippines, we have the special education. And this special education is what we call children with special needs. All right. So the children with special needs, we can have another language for that. Example, the HI. This is a silent type of language. Example, I can give you in my sign language. All right. I am going to sign language with you the what is your name. So this is the way. All right. So what is your name? All right. So you can understand that. And the other one, the interpreter, we're going to ask the person. So we can have different language. Okay. And how are you? That is one. Okay. And you have to say that, hi. All right. H. And I'm going to give you, because I am, I have a curriculum in my school. I have a SPED program. So as a school leader, I have also know what is the different uh, images that we're going to say. So we're going to identify the letter word that you can understand from A to Z. All right. So these words can be identified by the hearing impaired learners and of course other children with special needs. All right. So as school leaders, we can divide ourselves. We can know what is the structures and what is the needs of every learners in our chosen fields. So so precisely that in the Philippines, we have the inclusive education. It undergoes here the special needs of a children with HI, with children with disabilities. And of course, the disabilities have the different meaning of that. And ADHD, and with the children with late in their speech. And of course, many undergo this medical needs of the children. And of course, on the iPad, we have the indigenous person. We have contained the tribal culture of different islands in the Philippines. So different islands have their different cultures, different languages, and different customs and heritage. And of course, the ALS, we have the children with they have the overage age, but they are continuing schooling. So these are the programs that we undergo, not only for the regular learners, but all, of course, on the inclusive program. So a language is not just words, it's a culture, a tradition, a unification of a community. A whole history that creates what a community is all embodied in a language by Noam Chomsky. And of course, as I said, this is all the semantics that we have. The word that can identify is we can understand, we can communicate, and we can have a common goal, and we are one. Thank you so much, Ambassador Dr. Lilibet Gregorio from the Philippines. Thank you and mabuhay.
Thank you so much for your insightful presentation. Yes, we have learned a lot of things. And I have to share, that is, you have to share the branches of semantics, origin of semantics, types of semantics in a different great way. Thank you so much. And last, for the not the least, you have to share that a language is just a words. It's a culture. It's not just a word. Sorry, a language is it's not just a word. It's a culture, the tradition, configuration of the communication community is. It's all about embodied in a language. Thank you so much for sharing such a great way.
Thank you so much.
And yes, before going to the our next, tomorrow's presentation, I would like to ask or invite some of the participants of today to share some of their views. So I would like to request, I would like to call the Mahua Chakraborty ma'am to share some of yours by today's view. Sister Mahua Chakraborty, can you please hear me? Yes.
Good evening,
Yes.
good
Go on.
evening, Nur Ahmed sir. I don't know why I'm getting disconnected again and again today. That's why I'm not switching on the video now. So, good evening, everyone, all the eminent speakers. Such a wonderful session and such great takeaways every day. Dr. Lilabeth, that is amazing. The way you express language, it's really a community, because when we share our knowledge in form of words, language from various places, does become a community, a society. So it is really excellent, ma'am. So the way you put it across. Vimla ma'am, you were also excellent the way you said, and Koshi sir, your speech was also amazing, sir. What you expressed about how the influence of Malayalam on English. So that was so great, Veena ma'am. You too, like that this it's like a platter of different languages, which is really making a beautiful cuisine. So Rachna ma'am, once again, thank you so much for inviting such eminent speakers and enriching us with such beautiful knowledge. Like, what it is truly said, that I completely agree with Mr. Ambassador Nur Ahmed, that it is not about which profession or which subject you come from. You definitely enrich yourself and become more developed and a scholar when you are linked with different subjects, and you become a complete individual when it is from different subjects. And English definitely is one of the most important international languages. So we really the great takeaways for all the 3 days, and especially today also. Once again, So thank you, all of you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sister, for your valuable words and very lovely words to us. And yes, we are really pleased to have you because although the previous, I mean, the yesterday, I also hear some of your words, and those are very inspiring. And this is how the event is look like so live and so fruitful. Thank you so much for being with us. So I also want to hear some of the words from the Veena ma'am. Veena ma'am, yes, lovely listener, please unmute yourself and share some of your words. Unmute yourself, ma'am, please. Unmute yourself.
Thank you so
All right.
much, Nur sir. You have been a wonderful moderator. Thank you. It's a pleasure to know you. Thank you so much, all the eminent speakers. I can only say that I'm truly blessed to be a part of today's session again. These 3 days have been amazing, and the amount of takeaways that we have taken is really has enriched us so much. To all the eminent speakers, I'm really blessed and so much of respect for you, for your words of wisdom and your experience that you share. And we really take back so much from you. So thank you with folded hands, Thank you so much for a wonderful time. And thank you, Rachna ma'am, once again for creating this wonderful platform where we are enriching ourselves so much. Thank you, Nur sir, for giving us the opportunity to speak. Thank you so much.
Yes, we are really honored to have you. I'm your brother, so it seems to like I'm not that much experienced enough. But yes, I would love to hear that you call me brother. That make me some connection. That yes, I'm your brother. That means the relation is very strong rather than the side is so formal. So it would be great if you call me as a brother. Anyway, yes, your words are very inspiring, and your presence is also very inspiring for us because without your presence the all events look like very boring. That yes, some of the speakers share their words, but still some of the person who are still hearing and just open the video camera and still listening. This is very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So yes, with pleasure. Well, now I would like to call another yes, the yesterday moderator, Shailaja ma'am. Shailaja ma'am, where are you? I want to hear some of yours. Shailaja ma'am, you can unmute yourself and share some of your words. All right. Shailaja ma'am, can you hear me?
Maybe
All right.
she's not able
Yes.
to hear.
Okay. No worry. So this may happen for the network issue. I have disconnected a number of times, so this may happen. So move on. And the last, not the least, I would like to call Amuzuri, brother Amuzuri. If I pronounce your name perfectly, it would be great. Otherwise, please pardon me. Amuzuri, brother, can you hear me? All right, because of the network issue as well. So no problem. I would like to request Rachana ma'am for sharing a small brief about the next day's topic.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, gratitude and thanks to all the delegates and the erudite speakers who had joined us today from different parts of the globe. It was really a very good learning, as already Veena ma'am said. It's always a learning, and I am also in the process of learning. Being a language teacher myself, I always felt that language is a topic which we need to discuss more and more. And there is never ending, as Dr. Koshi said, there is no end to knowledge. And the way Dr. Lilibeth had presented, I was truly amazed at the sign language. Ma'am, if you could just show it again, because I think you were presenting at that time, so your actions were not that visible.
Yes.
That how do we
Okay.
speak? So if you could show that once again, because that time
Yes.
the
Okay.
presentation was going on. I really want to learn that.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So
Yeah, Lilibet sister, just show once again your sign language.
Yes, yes, I want to
So
know.
what is your name? So that
Okay,
is
okay,
one.
just a little
Okay.
bit higher. Just move your
So
camera a
the
little bit
what?
higher.
What you have to what
What? Okay,
is
is
your name?
your
All right. And then your if I am the one who are asking, I am going to say this. My name is this. I have the call sign Lilibeth. This is my call sign Lilibeth. So if I'm going to have a finger spell, I have to say it Lilibeth. Lilibeth. All right. So this is a finger spell. So this is a very this is a course from special education. This is a 4-year course. So in as a administrator, I learned this in 3 months. So it's very short, but you have to learn so far. So I hope that you can share this not
Yes.
only for the learners with but also for the learners with special needs. It's very amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
it is truly amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am, for once again showing it to us. It was really enriching. And as we started the session already, it was flooded with so many pointers, as semantics is a topic which we all need to know. Because nowadays, when we are checking the papers of English, I don't want to go into the gruesome detail of it, how they slaughter the language. When we check the papers, the educators who are there, the young students who are there, they put the verb wherever they want. And as a result, the prepositions and verb, as Dr. Koshi said, it's all a turmoil. They just translate it and write it in their paper. Hindi say English. Hindi they speak, so and they write it that only in English. So as Dr. Koshi very, very rightly told, that in English, if we translate it literally from Malayali to English, then the sentence is absolutely wrong. So when we are thinking and when we want to write in English, we need not think in a mother tongue and just translate it. Of course, that will help us to understand, but that will not give us the correct English form, the sequence, the semantics will go wrong. So it was wonderful learning. And then Vilma ma'am also said certain points which was very, very important for every educators to remember, not only students, even as educators. There was a lot of takeaways I really enjoyed. And of course, Rakesh sir made it very interesting with his funny motives and adding that how language can be more funnier. And if you take it in that way, instead of going deep inside, and every language has its own origin. And if you look into the origin of the language from where it descended, and we can see that the accent to changes with the descent. So the descent of the language originates its accent. So wherever we are, we can try to change. Today, if I go to America and stay for a month, probably I can take up a couple of the accents which is used there. And once again, coming back to Bengal, I might take up the Bengali accent because there that's a different thing. So it depends on how you accept and how you rotate and move. As Ruben sir has left early today, he had already said the lip movement, the tongue, the dental, that how we make the pronunciation with the help of a tongue. And when we are taking the language class, we just focus on the face. That was the reason why I had told that we will be preferring to speak rather than to use the presentation, so that we can focus on the lips, the hand movement when we speak language. So it was lovely listening to all of you. It was a wonderful takeaway. And first of all, a very, very great thank you to Nur Ahmed, who has joined us. I know he has a lot of different problems at home coming up, but thankfully his mother is well now. Thank you, brother, for joining us. He is an international speaker, mentor, moderator, educator, and a young professional too. So we are really happy that you have joined us today to moderate this wonderful session. And our erudite speakers will also agree with me that it is truly a lovely session. And you have also nailed it. and with your words and with your motivational words. Saluja ma'am was there. You were requesting her to say something. Moa ma'am, as usual, she is always giving such motivational words. And Veena ma'am, of course, is there with us from the beginning. Day one, I've been observing that a great takeaways. A presentation like this, I needed only the people who really wanted to learn. That was the main motive behind this. That when there is learning, there should be people, because certain students, I think Dr. Koshi's students might have joined in, but as soon as Dr. Koshi finished with his speech, those students have left. Probably they are seeing the live, probably, but they were so much interested. So that is the connectivity between a teacher and a student, and that is the takeaway. Right now, I am a student, as Nur Ahmed said, as Rakesh Verma said, that we are all like students collecting in a lot of information, which will help us in our future. So that is what I loved about Vilma ma'am and Lilibet and Maua ma'am. So I'm really, really honored to have you all. Maua ma'am is really, a positive vibration which I get from her. So they are all with me. And tomorrow, so let me tell my audience, tomorrow again is the grand finale, and we have 4 speakers. The electrifying speakers will be there with our most dynamic host, Mahua Chakravarti ma'am will be joining us, and she will be there present to give her views and comments about the topic. Subtopic tomorrow is grammar. We know that English is the basis of all the other subjects. If our English is wrong, all the other subjects goes in vain. I hope everyone agrees with that. Even science we cannot write. In political science, we cannot say anything if I don't have English proper, if my grammar is not proper, if my semantics is not proper. So English is basically the origin of all the other things. So we all need to learn from all the erudite speakers and all the takeaways which we have today. So I feel that it's not necessary that only English teachers should speak. Any teacher who had felt that English had made the change, because we normally see that the students don't score marks. The reason is that they have written a definition in science, in physics, but their language was not proper. The child wanted to say something, but had written something. Something was there in the mind, but when they wrote it down, it was different. Even in the subject political science, as Rakesh Verma ji said, he's a political science teacher. I think he will agree to it that English is necessary to first. If your English is not proper, then even in political science, if you read the answers of your students, you will not understand a single line, what the child wanted to write. So that is why I feel that first of all the basis of all the language is English. So tomorrow we are coming up with another great topic, that is grammar. Of course, we know that is very, very important. And Veena ma'am, being an English teacher here, also will agree that the formation of the sentences, the placement of the prepositions, the verbs, the subject, the predicate, that makes a complete sentence. If we just translate it because of the native influence, then we will surely not be able to get that academic score which we desire for. Probably even speaking, as we all should grace whatever we speak in whichever accent, as Vilma ma'am said, that we should be proud in whichever accent we speak. So that was really, really nice. And I really loved the way you all have just said it. And this was what I was expecting, and I'm really so happy to get it from all of you. Really a pleasure listening to all of you. As if the time doesn't end and I can keep on listening and listening, and the time should go on and on. So anyway, thank you so much. So I hope all our audience will be glued in tomorrow, because we have a small felicitation too of all the speakers for the past 3 days with our speakers and the moderators, the electrifying moderators. So we will have a small felicitation too tomorrow. So do get connected, do join us in massive numbers, and encourage the speakers tomorrow's session, as well as be there for the felicitation. We would love to hear some beautiful lines and the message from the speakers too at the ending day. So a lovely note of message also we would love to hear from our speakers with the small felicitation and the moderators too. It's an invitation for all of you to do join us, that it will be a grand finale. So probably 5-10 minutes here and there. So do adjust the timing and be with us. Do support us and keep on supporting creative writing, modern age. So because I feel the writing which we have, it always expresses our inner thoughts and feelings. So once we pen down our thoughts, we are freed of our negative vibration. So that is how we become more positive and we become more dynamic. So thank you so much.
I want to add one line.
Yes, surely.
Importance of grammar.
Yes, sir.
It's the prologue of tomorrow's program. In translation, लड़की पेड़ के नीचे खड़ी है, মেয়েটা গাছের নিচে দাঁড়িয়ে আছে. A boy wrote, the girl is understanding the tree.
So
this is a joke. Vilma ma'am did not understand. Vilma ma'am, you did not understand.
Rakesh Verma sir is always behind Vilma ma'am.
Thank you
so
so
that
much.
was lovely. But yes, when we directly translate anything from a language, which Rakesh ji wanted to say is that when we directly translate from a language to the other, it's not the correct way of framing a sentence. We need, when the semantics come, today's topic was that, which all our erudite speakers, those who have not joined in, please do listen to the full video. You will get a proper glimpse. You can take takeaways. There are a lot of takeaways, as Dr. Koshi too said very nicely, that where the verb should be placed, where the placement of everything has a proper corner, edge to it. And finally, the end from Rakesh Verma ji was pleasant to hear that yes, every language has its own meaning and then it changes in different ways. So thank you so much, and we expect you all to join us once again for the grand finale tomorrow. And thank you, Nur Ahmed, thank you, Mawa ma'am, the silent visitors there, always there to support us. Saluja ma'am was a rock star yesterday, and she today was also there from the beginning. Amujiri was also there. She joined in a little late, but thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining.
Rachna ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
sorry to interrupt, but I just want to share another joke what Rakesh sir told. That was such a hilarious one. So the importance of English language and the importance of writing correct spelling. There was a couple, husband went on for an official tour, and sitting there, he texted his wife, "I hope you were her." And reading the message, the wife divorced. Why? Because he thought of writing, "I hope you were here." So that alphabet E itself makes such a lot of difference. So since Rakesh sir shared a joke, I too wanted to share this one. So English is so important. Each alphabet makes a difference. The meaning changes, the word changes. So that is the importance of English language, ma'am.
Yes, very true, very true. Thank you for coming on that. Here and here. We know the homophones and the
her.
homophones. Yes. Homophones
I hope
and homo.
you
Yes.
were her, he wrote.
Her. Yeah. Here. Yeah. That's the homophones, homographs when we talk about it. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was so hilarious, really. Amujiri sir, before we end, we can just
Yes, ma'am. Little bit I want to say. Thank you very much for all the distinguished speakers, and especially today's conference chair and moderator, beloved brother Nur Ahmed, and organizer, beloved ma'am Rachna ma'am. How the English plays vital role with the only count of 26 magical number from A to Z. How English influenced other languages and how other languages also influenced English language. So from the speakers' wonderful session of views, I learned so many things in this platform for wonderful sessions for informatic from the different speakers for their different views. So I'm very thankful to organizers and today's speakers and all viewers who are watching this our session. So I'm very, very thankful to entire the team. I hope all for tomorrow's session will also go successful. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Waiting to meet you all tomorrow once again. Bye-bye. Stay blessed, stay happy, and start learning English. So English will change all your marks, all your score. So if you want to release the pressure, learn English. Find out a very good teacher like Vilma ma'am, Lilibet, Dr. Koshi, Veena ma'am, Rakesh sir. So if you get a very good teacher, your English will improve. And whether you become an author or a poet, it will really create a change in it. So thank you once again to all of you for joining us. We expect you to join in maximum numbers tomorrow because of the felicitation, and we want to hear a message from all the speakers and moderators, how they felt about the event at the closure. So waiting for all of you tomorrow. Once again, same time, same link. Don't forget, every time probably the link might not be sent, but it's the same link which we are using. So join in that same link for all the 4 days. We have kept the same link so that if I forget also to post, you can join in. So do join us and support us. Thank you and bye-bye from India.
Good night. Good night, ma'am. Good night, everybody.